Lovelies, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your girl Anjiku, and thank you so much for being here. If you're a new subscriber, karibu sana, and if you are a returning subscriber, then thank you so much for showing patronage to this family, and we are so glad you're here. It's all about good vibes, God, and more good vibes, so this has been an indirectly highly requested video through the questions I've been getting, and I decided why not address it in one video so that I don't have to keep on repeating myself, because it gets old, it gets boring having to answer questions, the same question over and over again. So okay, let me start by saying I thank God I got a job in the UK. I finally got a job in the UK, and it's not only a job, but rather it's a permanent job, and number two, it is a government job, which is such a big deal, and I give all the glory to God, because man, it's it's not that easy. But anyway, that besides the point, let me answer the whole process that got us here. So you've already relocated, you've done your visa processing, and you've already reached the UK. What are the steps? What should you do first to settle in? And then what next when it comes to, looking for a job? So this is for the people who are planning to come to the UK. You've already you're either on the process, in the process of coming here, and you want to get a job after, So the first thing I'm gonna say is the type of visa you come with is gonna determine the types of jobs you are gonna get. For example, as a student, when you're coming here as a student, you're gonna be limited to the types of jobs that you can do. So as a student, don't come expecting to make a lot of money from, working here. Until you get a working visa, that's when you can, work in any kind of job. The only job you can't have as someone who's under either a dependent visa or a working visa is being a sports person, or either being a sports person or getting government funding, basically. I think those are the two limitations that I have. I don't know if different people have different limitations, but those are the ones I got. Probably someone else who's had like a different experience, you can probably let us know down below in the comment section. If you want to come work here, consider the type of visa you want to come with. Make sure you get a visa that's going to allow you to work. Okay, you also can't work with a tourist visa and get a serious job. That's the second thing. But anyway, so if you're coming here as a skilled worker, I'm definitely assuming you've already gotten your job even before coming here. So I'm just gonna talk about, or rather I'm gonna talk to people who are coming here as dependents, and now you want to get into the job market. But anyway, first of all, let's talk about, you've already gotten to the border force, and they've done your interview, you've been asked where you're going. So they ask you questions like, hello, so what's your name? And you say your name, your age, why you're here, why you're coming to the UK. Then you're gonna say, I'm coming as a dependent, I'm coming here as this and that. And then they're gonna ask you what's the name of the person that's hosting you here, and the person who's sponsoring you here. And you're gonna say it, and then they're gonna ask for the address. So you need to cram the address in your head, and then they're gonna ask you for what you're planning to do when you're here. So, depending on the type of visa you're coming with, you have to answer that question correctly. Because if you're coming here, for example, as a visitor, and you say you're coming here to work, my dear, you're gonna be on the next flight back home being deported, because they don't tolerate you're gonna be breaching basically the visa requirements. You're not supposed to be working, for example, and stuff like that if you're a visitor, yeah. So you need to answer the questions correctly and understand as to what limitations you have based on your visa. So if you're coming here, of course, as a dependent, you can choose, you can study, you can work wherever and whenever. So that's not really limited. So you can tell them, I'm planning to come, work, probably study in the future. They don't have a problem with that if you be honest with them. Just be honest with them if you're here with the right visa. Like, so please make sure you study your visa, okay, and say the right things, because you might have a slip of the tongue saying what you don't mean, or saying something without knowledge and end up messing up, your interview. So after your interview, you exit the airport. Of course, maybe you have someone to receive you, blah, blah, blah. You've gotten in now. What's the first thing you need to look for? Your BRP. You need to go collect your BRP, okay? So for the BRP, it's usually ready. It's usually ready as soon as you're here. So like when you went for your biometrics back in the country that you're coming from, that was what was being used for your BRP. So as soon as you land here, your BRP is usually already ready. So you can collect it on the same day, or you can go collect it on the next day, because for how long I think it's 10 days. Yeah. The letter you're given when you collect your visa, you can use that for identity, but it lasts for, I think, 10 days. If I'm not correct, I'll just adjust I'll check for how long, and then I'll let you know. But yeah, it's usually limited. It's usually like you can only use it for defined period of time, and then after that it's not going to be viable. So you use your BRP for your identification as a UK resident. Your BRP is your residency permit. Basically, it shows you are legally in the UK. If you can't produce it, then you are gonna be deported as well. So and you need to take care of it, because that's the only identification you have for now from a foreign country. That's your only form of identification here. Like, if you need to use it in any formal setup, or when that's what you need to produce to show you legally here, until you get probably a driving license, which takes time. So once you get your BRP, there are people who don't receive an NI number, national insurance number. There's a difference between NHS number and NI number. So you first need to apply for, if you did not come with a visa that grants you a national insurance number as soon as you get here, then you need to apply for that as well, because you cannot apply for any job without a national insurance number, and you cannot apply for an NHS number without a national insurance number. Okay, so you get your national insurance number, and then you proceed to getting an NHS number. The NHS number is basically supposed to show that you can get medical treatment anytime you fall sick within the UK. Otherwise, without that, you cannot get treatment if you are a resident. Okay. Yeah, so unless you're a tourist, and you fall sick. If you're coming as a tourist, you don't need all that. You can't get all that, but you're entitled to being, treated in case you fall sick here, because medical care is free in the UK as of now. Okay? Make sure you open an online bank. Monzo is very popular, or another one called, is it Revolt? But I use Monzo. Okay, so you need to get that so that you can at least be able to, have independence. Otherwise, over here, using the bus, everything requires you tapping on, tapping off. Like, you just need to connect an account, a UK account, to your Apple phone, to your Apple Pay. Okay, because most people use Apple Pay or Google Pay. Like, basically, you need an online banking, an online bank as the first thing, because you can't open a regular bank account without proof of address, without, like, there's a lot of things you need to consider, or rather they take into consideration before giving you an actual account. For example, for me, I can't get an actual bank account without either my letter of employment or without proof of address. You know, when you're talking of proof of address, it means you're either paying bills in the UK already, you either have a driving license in the UK, which is impossible because you just came. You are not paying bills, so you just can't open like a real bank account. You need an online bank account. So it's only online banks that can accept, you know, you as their member as soon as you come to the UK. So that's the most important account to have. In the meantime, they're very safe and secure, so that's not really a point to like deliberate on. Yeah, but they also have limits. You can't put like too much money on them, and you can't tap on them. You can't withdraw certain amounts of money with them. They also have their limitations, but at least they're good for a start. So once you've opened your account, you have your NHS number, you have your NI number, you have your BRP. What next? You now start applying for jobs. Well, there's a lot of job searching websites. You can use Indeed, you can use Glassdoor, you can use LinkedIn, and you can use actual websites for, you know, companies when you're applying for the job. I was using LinkedIn, and okay, I don't want to say where I'm working, so I was using like a website, a government website for the type of jobs I was looking into. But basically, if you just go and Google like the type of job you want, you will get a lot of recommendations and vacancies, and you know, you just fill in your applications, upload your CV. So make sure your resume is like in the UK standards if you're getting like a serious job, because you know, you need to have references, you need to. So once you apply, I was applying through a third party site. Every type of communication was through the third party website. So I got an interview invite at the beginning of December, and then I went for my interview. No, actually, sorry. I went for my interview in November, end of November, the last week of November, and then I got my offer letter in December, the first week of December. Yes, because I waited for 2 weeks for my offer letter to come after my interview. So I did my interview, got my offer letter, and then started the process. If I tell you, there's more things now to do, you know, when you are getting a job, a formal job in the UK. You need to now DBS check, number one. DBS check is basically checking for identity to make sure that you are not a convicted criminal. Okay, they take that so seriously. As much as you did that before coming here, they have to do it for themselves because they only trust their system, you know. So they have to do it for themselves, and they send your details, your passport number, everything to the police wa huku sasa, you know. And they do like a background check of you. You have to put in all the addresses that you've lived in throughout your life, okay? So from back in Kenya, I put the address that I was living in, and then here in the UK, you put the address that you're living in. They do a background check. They check if you've ever had any criminal record from any country in the world. Yes. And then after that, they can consider, you know, whether hiring you or discontinuing your process, your recruitment process. Because if you're a convicted criminal and that job does not require you, you know, to be a convicted person or having like an ongoing court case, then they're gonna dismiss you. Like, it's a ground for them not hiring you. So that process alone takes like a month. Like, the DBS check, I actually got it in 2023. Like, I was cleared in 2023, but I'm assuming it was slowed down because of like the festivities. But anyway, it was cleared. Also, it has to show that you have a right to work in the UK. They have to, to confirm that you actually are cleared to work and what types of jobs you can get work. So the background check that was done was actually very serious. And guys, I don't know if this is what they do for all jobs, or probably specific jobs where you like are working with a vulnerable, or you are working in a place where, or rather, that requires a lot of discipline, that requires a trustworthy person. Yeah, so, and basically such setups are like if you're working in the banking industry, or you're working in healthcare, or what else? Yeah, I think those are the two main careers that really do serious background check on you. And then after that, I had my references contacted, and they needed like an academic reference. So I had to ask one of my professors or former lecturers, and then they needed a character reference, someone I've known for 3 years, and they needed a former like employment, my most recent employment reference. Yeah, so, but it depends whether or not, if you're starting a new job, probably you won't need like to have like your former employment reference. But if you had a job back in the country you are in, they need a reference. And for all those references, they need to have professional emails. They need to have like official emails, not at gmail.com or yahoo.com. They don't take that. So make sure your reference has like don't put in your reference for the sake of it if you know like they don't have a professional email address. Yeah, what else have I left out? When you're looking for a job in the UK, you need to consider, unless you're looking for like a professional job that requires professional skills, there's roles that they can train you on. And one thing I appreciate about working in the UK is the fact that they don't care about your academic qualifications unless you're coming to like, study. But your academic qualifications, unless you are really looking for a serious role, they check on your experience. Because a lot of people actually get jobs that they haven't studied for, and they are so good at it, and they give such people chances. And then also, there's a lot of, like, apprenticeship is usually a very popular way of like tertiary education form. Okay, you can get your degree through apprenticeship, just by looking at what someone else is doing for a period of time, and you're paid to learn something, but you're actually practicing it, which I feel like is a better approach than going to class and sitting down, getting bored, and then having a concept of a career theoretically without actually like doing it practically throughout like the 4 years you're gonna be there. And I feel like that's a very fair way to like get your degree, because like a lot of us wouldn't fail. A lot of us will really pass, because if you're doing something, if you're seeing someone do something, then you do it, and you're there being told how to do it theoretically, who's gonna be at a better place to like do the job? It's someone who's like had the exposure from day one, as compared to someone who like had it theoretically and then now you come back. You'll start from square one because you need to be trained. So the person who went for like apprenticeship and not campus will be far ahead of you in the career ladder as compared to you. Like, you can learn finance through apprenticeship. Like, anything. You can learn law, engineering through apprenticeship in the UK. Now, if you are a graduate, if you've already done your undergrad, you can't enroll for apprenticeship. You cannot. They give the chance to someone who has not studied that. I don't know if you're trying out for a new career, you can do that, like if you're switching careers. But I know if you like did finance and you wanted to join finance apprenticeship, then you can't be accepted. Like your application is actually not gonna go through for sure. Yeah, so that's one thing to consider. They give the opportunity to people who finished high school and want to like don't have the opportunity to go to campus because campus can be so expensive here, and they also want to learn, and you're paid the same. Over here you're not paid because you have your masters. If your experience is the same with someone who never went to school and they're doing the same job as you, then y'all are gonna get paid the same amount of money. So over here, education is not really the key to success, as I would say. Yeah, it really isn't. Experiences. So once you come here, you leave your qualifications, at the airport. At the Kwaheri, Kenya. Unless that's what brought you here. Like, unless that's what you used to apply for when you're back at home. But if you land here and you did not have a job, you start afresh, okay? Yeah. So you need to humble up. Humble up. Even though you are a CEO there. And you did not come, with you being a CEO from there. You'll come and start the new job here. And I wonder, if you were a CEO, who's going to be your referee? It had to be a supervisor or someone, probably. Now, you better be a good CEO, because, like, if your employees hated you, it's going to be a hard time. But anyway, you need to humble up, come start over again. That's all I'm trying to say, right? Yeah, and then, yes, guys, that was it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you feel like I left out on some points that you want clarification on, be sure to comment and I'll answer in the comment section below. Yes, and that's it. I'm really excited to start this new phase of my life that is called working an actual job in the UK, So I'm still gonna be, giving you all content, because I'm not gonna be working in the weekends. Yes. And what else? I'll actually be working from between 8 and 4, which is very fair. Like, I'm getting an 8 to 4 job. It's 8 to 4:30, or is it 8 to... Like, it's not even 8 to 5. It's 8 to 4. I'm so happy because, I'll have time for myself. No working in the weekends. I'm so happy. I thank God because, all the glory to him. Yes, please. So guys, I've learned. I was doing Bible study yesterday, and I learned that you should always be thankful in everything, in the good and the bad. That's First Thessalonians chapter 5, I think, from verse 16 to 18. Be thankful, be joyful, thank God through all seasons, in the good and the bad, basically. Hate all evil. I'm paraphrasing everything, literally. Yeah, but there's something I've skipped. There's something I haven't. Pray continuously. Pray continuously. Not only when you need something from God, but pray continuously. Even when you don't need anything from God, just pray. Thank him continuously. Make gratitude a lifestyle, not just, thanking God for things when he's given you something nice, or when something nice happens. You have every reason to thank him, whether it's waking up, good health, having a family, eating that day, getting a job, everything. thank him and shame the devil, because even God can provide for us, right? Yeah. From now henceforth, you're gonna be hearing a few, Bible verses here and there, and yes. Anyway, guys, I love you so much. Thank you for being here. Please subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye. Mwah.
Found my shore, I'm searching no more. Why? Cause I know you're the one for me. Darling, you are my babe.